We are back with you. It's in the Village with A&M Margin, the South Orange may put online radio experience. Coming to you every Monday through Friday from 8 to 9:30 p.m. That's 8 to 9:30 p.m. You can reach us here at 973-327-3626. That's 973-327-3626. You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/SoMore Radio. That's facebook.com/SoMore Radio. Now, recently, Kevin Hart was on Saturday Night Live to take on gentrification in Bushwick, Brooklyn. There's also another story in the Huffington Post grappling with gentrification as a middle-class black American. Now let's take a listen to Kevin Hart on talking about gentrification. This is in thecolorlines.com. Gentrification usually isn't a laughing matter, but Kevin Hart guest hosting appearance on last weekend Saturday Night Live was filled with gems about it. Hart stars in a sketch about three friends, Jay Farrar, Kenan Thompson play the other two, who talk about the life on the new, now moneyed streets of Bushwick. Let's take a listen to that. Make sure we can get that up for you. Let's try to take a listen to that on this Saturday Night Live skit.
Who? Man, that's just Marquise, man.
Yo, what up, Marquise?
What up, Case?
Oh! Yo, it's getting crazy out here.
Yeah, I told you I ran on the radio today, right?
Is that right?
Yeah.
What happened?
So I'm walking down Bushwick, right? Mm-hmm. I'm on my way to Martha's.
Your baby Martha?
No. That new artisanal mayonnaise spot.
Oh, yo, I heard about that.
I heard about it on Donut Food Block. It said that the garlic truffle was a must try, so I said, all right, try it.
Didn't Tyshawn move his spin class to Bushwick?
Yeah, I was there last week.
Yeah.
I texted you, but you ain't text me back.
I was caught up. I had brunch with Carol.
Wait, what Carol? Carol from Project?
No. Carol's the chick that I nanny for.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Her kids went away on a ski trip, you know what I'm saying? So we just had a day together, you know, to unwind or whatever. Had that brunch, you know what I'm saying? Went shopping, got some gelato.
Let me tell you something, you be needing that, bruh. You know what I'm saying? That time to unwind, that's that you time.
So anyway, you seen Ray, then what happened?
Oh, right. So I'm with my bitches, right?
Come on, man, you ain't got no bitches.
I'm trying to play you out.
Why you trying to play me like I ain't got like 10 bitches, man? My dog walking business is bubbling.
Everybody lived in the hood knows about your passion for canines, right?
Hey.
Streets is talking, fam.
Yo.
That's why you getting that bread right now.
Let me tell you something, though. It ain't even about that bread, bruh. Man, I got love for them dogs. Love. I die for mines. Yo, I went and knitted the sweaters for Christmas. Come on, man.
That's adorable.
We all got matching sweaters, man.
I mean, that's real talk, man, because it's like, you know, when you doing something you love, you ain't even got to work no more. It's not work no more.
I heard that.
That's how I feel about my parties.
Hey, yo, how was that last party?
Oh, that last party was off the chain, bro.
Was it?
It was drinking wine, you know what I mean? It was painted landscapes, various fruits, you know what I'm saying?
You have any cheeses, though?
Do we have any cheeses? You ask if we have any cheese. What else you gonna pair one with?
Right.
Air?
Right.
Who went to it, though?
Yo, the whole squad was in there. Big Tank, Sarah, Smokey, Meredith, D-Rock, Barbara, what's the boy's name?
Buck Wild.
Buck Wild.
Okay.
Even Britt was there, bro.
I'm in love with the cocoa.
Yeah, listen, like we was turned up.
Yo, man, I missed that, B.
And I sent you an Evite and everything. You ain't even responding.
Yo, this dude said Evite.
You sound stupid, yo. You sound stupid.
Y'all got jokes.
Cue sad music. Here come the sad man.
Word, you acting like somebody put gluten in your muffin or something. Anyway, back to the damn story.
Right.
You went on Bushwick.
Yeah.
You see Ray.
Yeah.
And
I shot him.
In front of the bitches and everything?
Yeah.
how was the mayonnaise?
I ain't even get the mayonnaise. They was trying to charge $8 for that.
For mayonnaise?
It's mayonnaise. Paying $8 for mayonnaise. Yo, who that? Yo, who that? Who that?
That's just Kareem and his life partner. What up, Kareem?
What up, Miguel? You. It's getting crazy out here, bro.
He's wicked.
Yo. 5.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to post that one on our Facebook page. It's Gentrification, Bushwick Style. Since we're on gentrification, let's go over to the Huffington Post. Grappling with gentrification as a middle-class black. Let's take a listen to that from the Huffington Post.
A long history of black gentrification. The first black middle class residents moved into then what was a poorer working class neighborhood in the 80s and bought brownstones, did capital improvements, attracted the sorts of businesses that cater to people who buy brownstones and make capital improvements. And it's been going for 30 years now, and it's still managing to be a diverse neighborhood, which is a different story than usual. It's a neighborhood that's still about 40% black, but white middle class and white upper middle class people also live in Prospect Heights. It's an integrated neighborhood, and it's a friendly neighborhood. We all say hi to each other on our stoops. We meet up on the playground, that kind of thing. It's a neighborhood with black gentrifiers, with black middle class residents and black working class residents who've lived here for 20 or 30 years, and with newer and older white residents as well.
All right, so here is your piece right here, it's a fabulous image, and it lends to what you write. In your piece, you say, when cabbies and bodega owners and random people on the street repeatedly asked me if I was an East Village native, they erased my profession and demeanor and mentally stuck me out on Avenue D instead of calling me what I was, a black gentrifier. While I wasn't proud to be part of a demographic that kicked people out of their apartments, I had trouble feeling guilty about being my family's first college graduate, first lawyer, and first person who was financially able to call a desirable New York City neighborhood home. So talk about that personal, individual tension. You have guilt, you have success, you want to have a great place to live.
Yes, but I think overall I mostly wanted to be perceived as what I was. I was a lawyer. I was proud to have come, from fairly humble background and have the opportunity to have a nice job and litigate and live in a nice neighborhood. And so when folks were asking me, do you live in the projects? Are you from the projects? I have nothing against the projects. I just wanted the chance to be perceived as a lawyer, somebody who had achieved some measure of upward mobility.
This conversation for me is challenging in part because, and I'm going to answer the question, but I also think this conversation is challenging for me because I think about it from a class perspective, and I ask these questions of myself. Meaning, when I move to this neighborhood, does the neighborhood change substantively? Does the policing patterns in the neighborhood change? Are there going to be new establishments that are opened up with me in mind? And the reality that I experience over and over again is that's not necessarily the case. And I think that's also what often isn't really discussed around what it means to be someone who identifies as a black gentrifier, in the sense that, I don't know necessarily if my moving to the neighborhood has the same impact. And I don't want to lose the meaning of this term gentrifier, because I think it has a very powerful and potent meaning in our culture right now. So when I use that term, I think sometimes it might miss. I don't want to. It's a very loaded term, and I think that I often don't feel like I enjoy the benefits of being a black gentrifier simply because of my moving to a place and because I have the money to live there. I often feel like, in fact, nothing changes. My neighborhood didn't get necessarily quote unquote better. The real estate value didn't go up quote unquote because I was there. And so what does that mean? Am I just a black middle class person living in a neighborhood in transition who themselves will be pushed out once I can no longer afford to live there?
I think that, for one, when Spike Lee mentions the Christopher Columbus mentality, there's often this idea that people who come in a gentrifying neighborhood are pretending that they're the first people who arrived in the neighborhood, and that is obviously a very disrespectful perspective to the people who have been living in the neighborhood since before new arrivals arrived. And that in news coverage of gentrification and the way sometimes, residents appear to be relating to each other, I totally understand what he means. I see that. I do, however, think that there are new arrivals who are there, patronizing neighborhood businesses and speaking to their neighbors and forming good connections with the community. And I know I would definitely include myself in that category. And I feel like, well, that's not a perspective that's the main one that's being, promoted out there, but it's there and it's valid, and it's people trying to come to a common solution of living in a neighborhood and having the people who live in that neighborhood be, happy neighbors, happy, co-residents. But some of it is also the preeminent, I would argue, image of black people as perceived in the media is also not middle-class people who are buying homes and making capital improvements or paying higher rents. So the predominant image of black people is black people are poor. And so, and I think people just see this and they go, well, what are you even talking about? Like, who are these people? Because a lot of, the black middle class doesn't get as much attention as it could. And so people are trying to reconcile, I think, some of the main media representations of black people with this group that, how could they possibly be coming in and taking over houses if people think they're poor all the time? Like, so those ideas clash. And I think that's why you get a lot of heated discussion about the idea of black gentrifiers. And also, gentrifier, the term does not have solely positive connotations, obviously. There's this image of displacement, this, I'm moving into an apartment and paying higher rent, and that means someone can't live here, that I've kicked someone out. And, that's definitely part of it, but in New York, I feel like you can't move to New York and pay 1993 rents. It's 2015. Things are more expensive than they used to be. To a certain extent, if you choose to move to New York today, somebody's going to be displaced, willingly or unwillingly, but I'm probably going to be displaced in 15 years. It's, unfortunately, I don't know how much choice we have in this. Dax, I definitely think your article spoke to this, and I loved it for that. Somebody's going to come and they're going to be willing to pay $4,000 a month for my apartment, and I'm not going to be able to afford to live there. And so just the continuous nature of gentrification probably needs to be part of this discussion, that people are moving in and displacing, and that they're going to, and at least in New York anyway, keep moving in and keep displacing people, and that, black people can do that too. But also that, everybody, I don't think there's a straight up villain here. Not in the way that it's been portrayed.
I actually joined the New York Urban League Young Professionals, and I would recommend joining organizations and getting involved, block associations, if your block has one, just so that you aren't constantly grappling with this, oh my God, I can afford to go to the cupcake shop, next to the bodega that's been, that hasn't been remodeled in 50 years. So, I was living on Quincy off of Nostrand Avenue, and that was like my day to day, where it was just this weird kind of old versus new. And, my reconciliation for that was just to really make sure that I was giving all of myself and not just taking from the new stuff that was popping up, and really getting involved in the community, making sure that people in the community knew that while I was there, I appreciated them being there as well, and that's why I was there. It wasn't just about, I just want to come in your neighborhood because it's cool now. It's about, this is where I want to live. Being from Georgia, Brooklyn for me felt like home. It had this kind of real community feel that I really took to. So, I would say that if you're struggling with it, be a part of it, and don't try to remove yourself, because that's not what it's about. At the end of the day, we have to come together.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Gentrification. You got it Brooklyn style as well as Kevin Hart style. If you know about a young man by the name of Kid President, let me get this. He tells the story about Martin Luther King. This is the story of Martin Luther King by Kid President. You have to Google this gentleman. It's a young guy, and he tells the story of Martin Luther King in this charming audio. Take a listen. This is Kid President telling the story of Martin Luther King in this presentation.
Once upon a time, there's a man named Martin Luther King Jr. It's funny to think about because now we know his name so well. But at one time, he was just a kid. Like maybe you're a kid watching this. Well, he was a kid too. Well, maybe you're a grown-up. That's okay too. Former kids are welcome here. I don't discriminate.